Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Greger, coming to you live from Treadmill to answer your questions every month here on both Facebook and YouTube. Facebook is already up, and so this is your last chance of the month to get your answers questioned. Your answers questioned. Sounds very zen. For those of you who are familiar with my work, every year I read through every issue of English language nutrition journal in the world. So busy folks like you don't have to. I think compile the most interesting, the most groundbreaking, the most practical findings and new videos and articles I upload every day to my website, NutritionFacts.org. Everything on the website is free. There's no corporate sponsors, no ads, strictly non-commercial, not selling anything, just put it up as a public service, as a labor of love. New videos and articles every day on the latest in evidence-based nutrition. What a concept. Although I just said we don't sell anything, you'll see here I have my new swaggy shirts. It's part of a fundraiser. So any money that I get from speaking or book sales or anything all goes to charity. And so this is to support Nutrition Facts. It's a 501c3 nonprofit charity. You make a tax-deductible donation, or you can buy cool stuff like this baseball tee, and we have bags and stuff. We just launched this campaign, so for like a limited time, you can get this stuff. Anyway, we'll put the link down below, and so you can check it out if you're interested. Okay, let's get to your questions. Dusky asks, nuts like almonds have a quote-unquote bad omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acid ratio, but their consumption seems to reduce cardiovascular disease. Does this ratio not matter when eating the whole foods, or should we favor walnuts when eating nuts? The reason we worry about the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is because we're worried about the people consuming lots of junk food, which contains junky omega-6 rich oils such as cottonseed oil, sunflower, safflower, corn oil, and not enough of these wonderful short-chain omega-3 fatty acids, alpha-linolenic acid, found in walnuts and flax seeds and chia seeds and hemp seeds. So all nuts are good for you. Having said that, some nuts are healthier than others, and evidence suggests that walnuts may be the healthiest. So, that's my nut of choice, but they're all good for us. Anaemia asks, or Noderone, sounds like a drug, asks, I compiled all the science you gave me about breast cancer for my mother-in-law, diagnosed late. After 2 months of following the advice, it seems she's out of danger and happy to be down 20 kilograms, which for all you non-metric folks out there is about 22 pounds. And has a little smiley face emoji. Well, smiley face emoji back to you. Congratulations. Let me know if there's anything else I can ever do to help. Dr. Mesh86. You were just on Facebook. For London General, a London General practitioner. I'm going to be in London tomorrow. Excited to be on London Live. Not tomorrow. No, I'm going to fly there tomorrow. I'll actually be on London Live. I believe 3 p.m. local time in London. I think we're going to live stream it on our Facebook page as well on Sunday. If you want to check that out. Loves my work. Very nice. Thank you for sharing the good message of evidence-based nutrition. I'm sure you share my sadness for not having been taught this in the first place in medical school. Okay, Matt JH33 asks, all caps. Do you still aim for 7 hours of sleep each night? ? Yes, I do. I really, really do. In fact, as part of the, so I want to do a webinar on fasting. But you can't talk about fasting without talking about ketogenic diets. You can't do ketogenic diets without talking about intermittent fasting. You can't do intermittent fasting without talking about breakfast versus dinner. And you can't do that without doing a deep dive into the research on chrononutrition, on circadian rhythms and diet. And so I've been reading a lot of that literature recently, and damn, sleep's important. So it's really one of the pillars of lifestyle medicine: sleep, exercise, most importantly, diet. And so do not give your body short shrift and aim for those 7 hours, yes. Boise Triathlete asks or says, I've mentioned blenders can chop up materials to the cellular level. Yes, hopefully subcellular, because you want to break open those cell walls. We cannot digest cellulose. These are plant cell walls. So we actually have to open up those cells to get at the nutrition. And what are the implications for getting fiber and the resulting rate of sugar absorption within a smoothie? That is such a great question, Boise Triathlon, and that's exactly why I did a series of smoothie videos. Talks exactly about that stuff. Talks about all the potential and real risks and benefits of smoothie consumption. So the best, and it's actually, it gets really interesting. Really, I can't believe that they studied it so intently, but went all in, really digging deep to find out exactly why smoothies do what they do. I found it to be really, really interesting. I think for some people it's a little too much detail, but if you want to know about smoothies, I can think of no better source. And that's why I do what I do. That's why Nutrition Facts exists, because I want to know something. I look it up and I can't find it. And that irritates me. And I was like, if only someone did all the work for me, someone I trust, and can put it all together and be totally transparent about it. Meaning like, look, you weren't born with this information. Where'd you get it from? I want to know. In fact, I want to see it, the information. I want links to all the information. So, but do all that work and then show me exactly how you did it and where it came from. And let me make up my own mind. There wasn't like anything like that for smoothies, but now there is, thanks to your support for my work in Nutrition Facts. Okay. Dr. Mesh 86 had a question. Roasted peanuts used for peanut butter. Don't roasted peanuts form acrylamides? You know, it's not the acrylamides that are the problem. When it comes to peanuts, it's the AGEs, the advanced glycation end products. So high fat, high protein foods, when exposed to high temperatures, so we're talking dry heat temperatures, so anything basically over boiling or steaming. So we're talking baking, broiling, barbecuing, frying, any of those, grilling, can produce these in high fat, high protein foods, can produce these AGEs. So if you look at a list of all the highest AGE foods, you know, which I do in the book, which I have videos about, you know, it's like grilled hot dogs and, you know, so it's basically all the various meats, grilled chicken, etc. But there are these few foods, few plant foods. And so can anyone think of a high fat, high protein food? Tofu, nuts. So when you roast nuts or when you like grill tofu, you are producing these toxic compounds. So I encourage people to eat raw nuts and seeds, eat raw nut and seed butter. So you can get raw peanuts. So you just look at, instead it says roasted peanuts, it should just say peanuts. Look, I guess you can make your own if you wanted. Raw nut butters, raw seed butters, and don't grill your tofu, steam your tofu, or boil your tofu in soup, or I don't know, you just don't want it to darken. Okay, Boise Triathlete is back. He said, wait a second, didn't Boise Triathlete already get a turn? Boise Triathlete was proactive enough to get on here early, list all his questions. You can too. For next month, if you subscribe to my newsletter, go to NutritionFacts.org and click subscribe. Everything's free, like subscription, everything else. I will tell you when the next one is, and you click on the link and you can start listing your questions weeks before. So props to anyone who actually took that step and put their questions down, so they got up on the list early to make sure I got them. So make sure to do that next time if you really want to get your question answered. So next question, Boise Athlete. Any nutritional advice for someone who's had a partial hepatectomy, part of their liver removed? Obviously no alcohol, avoid added sugar. So certainly alcohol and excessive refined sugar intake would be bad for your liver. What else is bad for your liver? Obviously any hepatitis is bad for your liver. And so for Hep A, that means hepatitis A vaccination if you're going to a place where it has endemic Hep A, Hep B and C. Well, so Hep B and C basically kind of blood. Don't share razors, don't inject intravenous drugs, that kind of thing. Go to my chapter on liver health and how not to die, or search for liver on NutritionFacts.org and see all the healthy pro kind of liver beneficial foods and things you may want to stay away from. Okay. And Matt McLeod says, can acidic foods destroy nutrients? Oh, yeah, I already answered this on Facebook. Smart. Asked it on both places just to get their question answered. And so I'm going to skip this one. You say, well, wait a second. Well, then if you want to know the answer to that, check out the one on Facebook. Okay. Zinturus asks, are all those dairy, excuse me, are all those dairy milk alternatives like soy milk safe when it's made in factories but not in home? I'm not sure what your thinking might be in this factory. The benefit of buying something like soy milk from a store rather than making it yourself is the store soy milk will be fortified with vitamin D, vitamin B12, with calcium. Whereas if you make it in your home, not only will it not taste as good, it'll taste very beany, but if you don't mind that, then that's fine. But will not have those added fortifications. Now you say, well, why would I need fortifications? Can I get all my calcium from dark green leafy vegetables? Absolutely, but you actually have to eat lots of dark green leafy vegetables and get adequate sunshine for vitamin D and get a B12 from other fortified foods or supplements. But so yeah, I would actually probably prefer, and it's easier, right? I don't know. I guess it's cheaper to make it yourself at home. I don't know, but yeah, I don't see any downside to buying it commercially. Matt JH33. Matt is just answering someone else's question. Connor says, I am on a whole food plant-based diet. However, his dad, I guess I shouldn't say his, I don't know. However, my dad, I'll just read it as it is on a high-fat ketogenic diet and is convinced that it is the right way to live. He won't listen to anything I say, so can you please talk him to the good side? I think the first thing to convey, it's so hard. Eating is such a kind of a personal thing. It's like talking about religion or politics. It's so deeply ingrained, and particularly with people that are close to you. And if there's a way you can convey to him that you're not trying to convince him to eat differently because you want to win some argument or something, but that you really care about him, that you really love him, and you want him to be around for you and for him for the rest of their lives. So it's coming from a place of love. And so I would just share, good evidence-based sources. But look, some people don't respond to evidence. And for those kind of people, I figure there's some crazy percentage of Americans that believe in angels. Maybe 40%, don't quote me. But not just actual angels. Okay, so for someone who actually believes there's angels walking around, and you say, well, look, there's evidence showing that ketogenic diets might not be healthy. I don't know if it's going to help them. I don't know. All I can say, share evidence-based resources in hopes that he'll make better choices for himself. Nicole asks, is it okay to put a little stevia in our tea daily? I did a video about stevia, and stevia should be considered harmless at the kind of dose you're talking about. I believe in the video, the upper daily limit as determined by the WHO was 5 stevia sweetened beverages a day. So if you're not drinking more than 5 cups tea a day, I think they're talking about soda. So, and that's really sweet. Most people don't sweeten their tea as sweet as soda is. So presumably that should be fine. All right. Oh, Matt McLeod is back. Oh, must be responding to my question. Aren't the grind your own peanut butter options at stores already roasted peanuts? Maybe. When I was saying why don't you make your own, I was saying like in your blender. Like people don't realize if you take peanuts, like regular peanut, and you put them in a blender, they turn into peanut butter. And if you blend them for a little while, they turn into chunky peanut butter. If you blend them for a long time, they turn into smooth peanut butter. Not that I think you should have to go through. You should be able to find unroasted nut butters out there. I use one of my favorites is an unroasted and of course unsalted too. Almond butter, really yummy. So you can definitely find it. Or, well, you can definitely find it if you live in a big metropolitan place like I do. Okay, so, but you can probably find it online, have it sent to you. Zinturus is back asking, what is my point on the series of grains are acid forming and mucus forming? Never said anything about mucus. Oh, by Dr. Errett. Probably I've heard of him. I have not. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so people saying that grains are acid forming. So I don't know anything about mucus forming, but acid forming, it's true. So if you look at my, I'm trying to think of the name of the video. If you search for Lake, L-A-K-E, I wonder if that'll come up. That's the Lake method that's used in the studies. But if you look at acid base, you should be able to find, it's in my How Not to Die talk, my latest annual presentation. In the kidney section, I talk about it. So it's this graph that shows acid-forming foods, base-forming foods. And so, we've always heard that, grains and animal foods are acid-forming, and, whereas other plant foods tend to be base-forming. But if you look at this graph, you'll see, yeah, that's true. You can get like a tiny bump eating, I forget what it was, a bowl of white rice or something. But nothing compared to eating fish, which was the worst. And then I forget pork, poultry on down the list. Whereas, these greens, like dark green leafy vegetables, weren't just a little alkaline, but way alkaline. So you can get a sense. So basically, grains should be considered more neutral, whereas, greens, way alkaline. Animal foods, and some animal foods more than others. I don't think milk was particularly acidic, but you just got to check out the graph and actually see. I think it's on a per serving basis. But now when we're talking about acid forming, alkaline forming, it's important to realize we're talking about kidneys here. You really don't affect the pH of your blood stream that much. So most of your organs don't notice the difference in any large sense. But your kidneys, you can actually alter the urine pH dramatically. And that has implications for gout, implications for kidney stones, and some other conditions. And so you can talk. So there's a lot of kind of misinformation about the whole acid-base thing, but there actually is there are important clinical benefits from eating lots of eating a so-called alkaline diet, but often they're not what acid-based proponents talk about. All right, Doctor. Okay, more peanut butter talk. Cub Puff says, I've been eating whole food plant-based diet for 7 months and my cholesterol, still 177. I've been eating a serving of nuts every day. Esselstyn says, no nuts. Parentheses patients, more nuts or no nuts. Okay, so 177 is better than average person. Average person is about 206 in the United States. Actually used to be much higher. We're eating healthier than we used to. So that's, in fact, you want a doctor with a total cholesterol 177, they'd be like, wow, you're awesome. But awesome is not no risk. Ideally, we don't want low risk, we want no risk. And so what I would encourage you to do is, if you're not already eating, checking out Dr. Jenkins' portfolio diet, which is a plant-based diet, but it adds all sorts of foods that particularly pull your cholesterol down. So you've already eliminated stuff that increase your cholesterol. So trans fats, saturated fats, and dietary cholesterol. So now it's a matter of adding foods to your diet that pull cholesterol down. Nuts are one of them. So I'd encourage you to keep nuts in your diet. There's, like, soluble fiber rich foods, slimy foods like okra, oatmeal, ground flax seeds, things like that help pull cholesterol down. And I would try that and then get retested to see where you're doing. But I think I think some people, someone practicing, primary care would hear advice for someone with 177. They probably don't have any patients with cholesterol that beautiful. They would just pat you on the head with a gold star. But I don't want just better than normal, because normal is dropping dead of a heart attack. Number one killer of men and women. Let's not do normal. Let's do as low as risk as possible. Sergal Z asks, we take lots of capsules filled with spices, turmeric, rosemary, cardamom, ginger. Ooh, yummy. Do I know of any spices with proven benefits we could add to our capsule feast? Oh, how interesting. Okay, so there are these cheap little capsule making machines. They're kind of a pain. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but if you can get your kids to think it's a game, they may make them for you. It's a little child labor action. Spices are one of the few things that have such potent benefits that you can actually cram them into a pill, like whole. It's like, yeah, broccoli is super good for you, but how much broccoli can you fit in a capsule? So this much broccoli is probably not very good for you, but this much cloves or cinnamon actually does have physiological effects. So if you don't like spices, and so I recommend, it's part of my daily dozen, if you don't like spices, yes, you can get your spices in capsule form. A quarter teaspoon of turmeric a day is probably just like 2 of those big capsules. Would be a quarter. So if you want, you can add a little black pepper in there to boost the bioavailability of that turmeric. Cloves are fantastic. Yeah. You can do a little amla in there. So, dried gooseberry powder, dried Indian gooseberries. I'm trying to think what else you could. Yeah, no, that sounds good. Do I know much cardamom stuff? I remember doing one video about cardamom, but I don't remember what it said. Oh, what about fenugreek? I got some fenugreek videos out there. All right, so those are some options. All right, Carolyn Hillman asks, eczema. Oh, eczema makes me want to rip my skin off. You are in luck, Carolyn. Why? Because I have a whole series of eczema videos. Oh, but they're split up. You know what I try to do is if I come up with like 5 videos on a topic, instead of doing them back to back, because that's like 2 weeks of videos. It's great for people with eczema, being like, oh yeah, don't want to be at a cliffhanger. But for people that have no interest in eczema, it's like weeks of non-interesting videos on Nutrition Facts, which I don't want. So that's why I tend to split them up. Now there's a few exceptions coming up. I'm going to have a long mammogram series. It's such a deep, complicated issue that you really need lots of videos. And it's not something you can split up because it's all one thing. It's not like, so for eczema, it's like, X for eczema. The next video is Y for eczema. But no, mammograms is like one overarching topic. So I'm actually going to have those crammed together. It's going to be a lot of mammogram videos. But so I think I have 2 sets of eczema videos. One on topical approaches, like putting different oils and things on your skin. And the other one is actually dietary approaches, like what to actually eat to improve eczema. I forget which ones I have coming up first. If you want to see them right now, I think they're on my latest DVD where you can see videos kind of months ahead of time. They'll all eventually be totally free on Nutrition Facts, but if you don't have the patience and you want to rip your skin off, you may be able to go to that. I don't know if those have all my videos. There may still be more eczema coming, but stay tuned. It'll be there. So thank you so much for your question. I know that was your question. That was a big gap on Nutrition Facts, not enough eczema videos, but now eczema is handled until more research comes out. Okay, Matt McLeod asked, should we avoid certain spices due to, talking about that video I just did. So certainly I would encourage people not to take Ayurvedic remedies. So you can get pills, and a lot of them are, like Triphala and these other kind of mixes that if you look at the ingredients, it looks like just a couple of plants powdered together. But unfortunately, many, they actually intentionally add toxic heavy metals because I think it somehow makes them better. It does not make them better. And so many surveys have been done, whether domestically produced or imported, that it's just better to stay away until they clean up their act, as far as I'm concerned. Ishay asked, do infants already produce enough cholesterol for optimal health, and they need to get some from breast milk? So what does that mean for soy formula? We all produce all the cholesterol we need. We don't have to have exogenous sources of cholesterol. So the baby would have enough cholesterol drinking breast milk or soy formula or any other kind of formula, but breast is best, 100% absolutely, but not because of cholesterol, but because of all the other wonderful things it offers. Okay, Ishay is back asking, according to Chronometer, Ishay's manganese intake is consistently too high, even though I don't drink hibiscus tea. Some of the main sources, oats and kale, is that really a concern? I wonder what manganese intake he considers too high. I would be surprised. So I do have that video on hibiscus tea saying, I think drink less than 1 liter a day because of the manganese issue. Presumably in that video, there's actually an upper tolerated dose. I say, well, you're not supposed to get more than X, and so this is how much is hibiscus tea. That's how I came up with my no more than 1 liter a day. So if you just take that X and see if it matches, but eating a variety of whole healthy plant foods, you should not have to worry about getting too much manganese. Shay again asking, are there people who can't convert enough beta carotene and other carotenoids to vitamin A? Everybody can't convert enough if you're not eating enough. All right. Okay. So vitamin A, our body makes vitamin A from these carotenoids we eat, like beta carotene. But if we don't make them, then we don't get enough vitamin. Then we could end up not getting enough vitamin A for optimal health. So that's why it's critical. So that's one of the reasons why my daily dozen has greens. Daily dozen has greens is because that's a great source of these carotenoids like beta carotene. So basically orange or, foods like, mangoes, cantaloupes, carrots, those have a lot of beta carotene as well. And the greens, actually, even though it's an orange pigment, it's actually in there. I talk about in the book about autumn leaves turning bright orange and all these beautiful colors. Those pigments were there all along. It's just that in the autumn time, the green pigment chlorophyll dies away and all the other ones come out. So all those beautiful colors are all wrapped up in there into one. You get the rainbow when you eat your greens. Okay, what is the minimum required sodium intake? I talk about that in my sodium videos. So it's about 10 times less than we are getting in our diet, which just shows how vastly unphysiological our sodium intake is. No wonder sodium causes problems such as raising our blood pressure, the number one risk factor for death worldwide, of which there is a big dietary component. Ishay says, can iron stores never be too low without anemia? I'm trying to think. If you're not anemic, if your hemoglobin is fine, then having low iron stores would be a good thing. I'm trying to think, is there any circumstance where you could somehow make enough blood? No. I mean, I think if you're making enough hemoglobin, then you have enough iron, as far as I'm concerned. Unless if you're on the borderline, so if your hemoglobin is kind of borderline, so it's not actually technically low, and you're fatigued, one might try kind of an empiric trial of eating more iron and vitamin C rich foods together to boost your iron absorption, see if that actually helps with fatigue. So there may be kind of some symptomatic relief, even though technically you're not anemic, but that's the only circumstance I can think of off the top of my head. And it's 1:30. Oh, sorry, everybody. I've got to run off to other interviews. Thanks so much. Hopefully I will see you in Sweden or any of the other places that I'm going to be traveling over the next few weeks. Be well.